Plus your friends, Lisa here at Shady Tree Stitches, here with you on the 30th of April for my end of April cross stitch update. So sit back, grab your stitching, grab a cuppa, and hopefully you'll enjoy seeing what I've been up to. And we have also got some news from Jenny. More on that later. Thank you for joining us. If you're one of our regulars, we really appreciate you, and we do appreciate when you comment and let us know your thoughts. It's so lovely to be able to connect with people through this medium. And if you're new, welcome. Hopefully you like us. And if you do want to see us again, then please press the subscribe button and the little bell to notify you of when we do a new video. Not quite as regular as we used to be. I was talking to someone last night who's a fairly recent subscriber, and she went all the way back to the beginning and watched all 4 years of videos, so she knows everything there is to know about us. So that's a fun thing to do if you want to one day. And if you don't want to, just start from now. So as I said, it is the 30th of April, and I have had a great stitching month. I've had 4 days where I didn't stitch at all, but the other days I was able to get some really good focus stitching, helped a lot by the fact that 2 of the weeks were school holidays and I was able to spend a lot of time at home stitching. So since I last saw you, I have got 3 finishes. 3! Oh my goodness. Makes me so happy to get to my goals. So let's start in no particular order. We have finished ABC Houses by Little House Needleworks. They're beautiful. I'll bring them a bit closer so you can enjoy. I'm going to make this into a cushion on my bed. They're just beautiful. So lovely. Such great stitches. And once I actually focused on them and actually started doing some stitching on them, they went pretty fast. So that was on my Olympics one. Let me get rid of that light. It was on my Olympics for Daily 30. So I had to swap that out with another one. So exciting to finish that one. The one I swapped it out with was this one. And this is Sleepy Hollow by Tiny Modernist. Sleepy Hollow is done on 28 count piece of fabric. I think it's by Crafty Weenie that I've had from when I was in her Fabric of the Month stash. She does ice dyeing, gets all these beautiful motley patterns. And I mostly had to work on the last 2 lines there. So really pleased to have that one done. It's my first ever Halloweeny type of piece, and really enjoyed stitching on it. I had to do some personalizations, particularly around the words on the 3rd line, because I did do some miscounting, and as many of you know, I am not afraid to fudge if I can. I am the world's worst model stitcher. Unfortunately, I have to stitch my own models, so they're never perfect, but that's okay. Stitching is an art form. Does not have to be a precise thing, although some types do. So that was the piece that I replaced my ABC Houses with on my Olympics, and it's finished now too, so I've got to work out now what to replace it with again. I did also do some stitching on one of my Olympic pieces, but look at that. My 3rd finish was Bird in Hand, and this is by Told in the Garden. And this one is on one of Paddock Lane Designs Crazy Ada's. I've had it for a few years. It's on Ada. It looks like a 16 count Ada, but I love the way it looks with all the browns. It's like it's, you know, big old fashioned dirty farmyard. So I'm really pleased with having that done, and I've got lots of these patterns to work my way through. So you'll be seeing more Told in the Gardens as we continue. So that was my 3 finishes. Now normally I'd say, Jenny, do you have any finishes? And she'd say, no, but she has a finish. So I'm going to flick over to Jenny here to tell you about it.
Hi everyone, it's Jenny. Hopefully Lisa's going to tack this on to the end of her video. You might have heard I was planning an overseas trip, so I am currently in Singapore, staying with my cousins, and then on to Europe tomorrow for my tour of Europe. But just wanted to quickly jump on to give you my stats and an update for my stitching in April. So I had not 1 but 2 finishes. Oh my goodness, that's so first off I was working on Ho Ho Ho. So it started the month looking, looking like that. I might actually send these photos to Lisa so she can insert, because I'm using a tablet. I didn't bring my whole laptop, so it's not as good as my usual. Anyway, I needed 463 stitches to finish it, so it got finished and looks like that. So this was a dimensions kit, so it was on kit fabric using the kit thread. So some of it was very detailed. The little green and yellow baubles, there's like 5 shades of green and 3 shades of yellow. There were about 5 different colours of backstitch, even in something that was small. But it looks good. So I'm happy with that. So that was finish number 1. And then the second one was, as you know, I was working on the door sign for my cousin's little boy. So it started the month looking like that. So it says honk honk, beep beep, oh, there you can see. And the beginning of the tyre of the vehicle above. And that one got finished early this morning. I needed to get it, I was hoping to get it finished on the plane. I finished all the cross stitching, but didn't get finished on the back stitching. Note to self, if you are going to do 3 strands for some of the pattern and 2 strands for the rest, make a note of it somewhere, because I finished stitching his name across the top and then went to, no, I hadn't quite finished. I'd done all but 1 letter, and so I went to get, I thought I don't need a whole new length of thread. There was a tail end of a little bit, and I pulled it off and it was 3 strands, and I went, oh yeah, that's right. I was doing 3 strands for the words because they're not backstitched and they're in yellow, so I wanted to make them stand out a bit. So I went over the top of what I'd already stitched with 1 extra strand, just doing the cross, the top cross again. So 2.5 strands on that and 3 strands on the rest of the stitching, but you can't tell. So that was 141 stitches, and here it is. There we go. So this was a pattern that I found online. It came from one of the cross stitch magazines, and it's on a piece of Paddock Lane Designs, I think Stormy Sky. So it's got the nice, oh yeah, you can see the mottling quite well beside the bus. So yes, so I changed the colours. I made the bus blue because that's the colour of the buses in Sydney, and originally the car was supposed to be blue. It's like, well, if the bus is blue, the car has to be a different colour. So I made it red, because then it's kind of almost the Wiggles big red car. So yes, very happy with that. Finally finished, so it can go on the door of his room, which is downstairs from where I'm sitting at the moment, because at the moment the door just says Princess Isabel, also stitched by me. So that's all my stitching for this month. I know there's still one day, but I'll be busy sightseeing in Singapore and hanging out with my cousin and her kids, so probably not going to get any more stitching done. The other quick thing was to show you what ended up going in my little travel kit. So unfortunately, my little tiny scissors, the little tiny ones that I showed last time, they did get confiscated at customs. They're apparently too sharp. If they'd been rounded points, then the size would have been okay. So in my little kit, I have my glasses, my magnifiers. I have my little notebook, which came from the Sassy pouch last time. My pen and highlighter in one, which came from that, yep, that's the right way up, Daisy Train retreat last year, very useful. A little Bort thing, also from the Sassy Devils one, I think they did an Australiana one. And these ended up here, because the little pockets in here are mesh, and they kept getting caught. So in here I have my clover cutter. So I was still able to stitch on the plane because I had this as well as the scissors, and my needle threader. But yeah, that kept getting caught in the mesh. I broke a fingernail trying to get it out. So I thought they can go in a little bag. And one of the, also Sassy pouch, the stickers came off, but one of their magnetic needle boxes, and so I've put the needles that came in the last Sassy pouch, I've just trimmed them down and written the number on for now, and also a couple of needle minders in case I do decide to start new things while I'm away. So yeah, that's all that went into my little kit. So that's all from me. Not sure when I will get to join Lisa online again, given that we're going to be on opposite sides of the world for the next month. But we'll see. Anyway, thanks for watching and happy stitching.
To tell you about it. All right, isn't that exciting? I'm so proud of you, Jenny. I'm really proud of you. You left it to the last second, finishing it while you're in Singapore, but I hope you have a really lovely trip around Paris and everywhere you're going. And I look forward to seeing what you find over there and what other stitching you took to get finished. So Jenny will be back with us probably in time for the next monthly wrap up. All right, so for this month then, what else have I stitched on? I did do some stitches after I filmed you last time on Fairy Tale Village, and I forgot to bring it into the room with me, so I'll put a photo here of where it was. And I did about another 500 stitches on it, and so that's for my Olympics. So that's where it finished now. And then I went on to work on the 3 finishes. So Sleepy Hollow had about, just having a look at it, about 2,500 stitches to finish. That was the first one I finished. ABC Houses, 1,700 to finish, and then Bird in Hand, and that needed 2,000-ish to finish. So that was substantial stitching, guys, and I really enjoyed it. I'm loving the focus. I'm loving getting the finishes. My goal, as you know, originally was to get down to 50 whips by the end of my 50th year. I've only got a month and a half to go. These whips have a lot more to do on them than that I previously thought. Plus, you know, work, getting in the real life. So I have, as I think I said last video, adapted my goal. I'm still keeping my goal. I am working on these whips. I'm getting them done. I am getting down to 50 whips. But there are some slight changes to it. The timing is one. And the second thing is I have been sucked into a couple of sales. More on that later. Okay, so what else have I stitched on apart from that? I did a lot of stitches on my Nutcracker. Here's where it is now. And can I remember? I never remember which way it is for putting the picture in. So I've been working on this one. I've totally finished that house there. I am doing some of my own colours, and this one is on a 32 count, I think, Paddock Lane Designs Turbulent, greens and browns on the sparkly opalescent. I think you can see the sparkles. Oh yeah, there. So I really love it, but I have actually finished this one completely except for the little bit of back stitch there, which is unusual because I haven't finished any of the others. And then I've moved down here, which is the music shop, and I'm working through on the music shop. So the Nutcrackers had about 2,000 stitches done on it. Each one of these houses is about 2,000 stitches. So 2,000 stitches. So I'm toying with the idea. This one is my sal piece usually for the weekly sal, but I'm wondering if I'd get more done on it if I actually made it one of my Olympics pieces. Let me know what you think below. Tell me, should I leave it as a sal or should I make it Olympics? I don't want to do both because then I'd always be working on it and that would just get too boring and I'd get burnt out and not want to do it. So please comment below, should my Nutcracker be a sal or an Olympic piece? For those who don't know, the Olympics is a year-long challenge in the Daily 30 group, which is a closed group, but you have to complete the distance going between each of the Olympic Games. So each month you have to visit each one of your 4 main whips. My other one is Animal Kingdom, Fairy Tale Village, and not thinking of the third one at the moment, but they're pieces that are getting a lot of progress on them. That's the idea. So I'm just not sure if this is going to be better off staying in my weekly sal or becoming one of those, because it needs to get finished. It's one of the ones on the finish list. And have a look at this, guys. It's on the frame, but that's where I'm up to. So I've done the whole top row, except I've got to finish the details. And I've got 1 house to do on the second row, and then 3 more houses to do on the bottom. So there's quite a bit more to go on it. So I need to get onto it. I need to pull my finger out and get him done. So he's on the to be finished list. And what's going to happen with my changes of plans, something in my eye, is that I'm not going to be working on all the other pieces I have until I finish these ones. Get them done, whip them out. I also was working on my Craft Room Stitch Count Sal, which, as you know, is my stitch along for this year, and I'm loving seeing all the progress that people have done. I just did 600 stitches on this today to get April up to date. April is all these beautiful ribbons. Obviously I've still got one more to go because I have something else I'm stitching on that I will be going back to stitching on after this video. So I'm not quite up to date, but I've still got to fill in the handles and I've got to do the sewing machine. And then we're moving over here down to the bottom of this cupboard here where there's the WIP and project bag baskets. And for May we are doing the project bags. So that's going to be lots of fun. I thought that was an appropriate thing to do for May where people are working on Mania. So that brings me to my total for stitching, and in the last two weeks since I filmed, I've done 4,828 stitches. But I just wanted to summarize for you guys the month of April. It had I wrote this all down on a piece of paper. I have done over 21,000 stitches so far in April. That's amazing. That's more like where I like it, but that's really good. I've had some great stitching days. I got to a 1,600 stitching day, which was pretty good, but as I said, I did have 4 no stitch days because life was just too crazy. And I've had 3 finishes, and my goal, my short-term goal for today is I'm working on a secret model stitch. It's a design that I'm submitting to the Down the Rabbit Hole magazine for their upcoming sampler edition, and I've designed a Quaker number sampler. So I can't show you that yet, but I'm really happy with it, and I'm using Cottage Garden threads, and because of that I'm having to actually stitch the model before I submit it for approval. Usually I submit just the computer generated image because you can't see how beautiful they look. So that's my short-term goal. I've got 1 motif basically left to stitch on that. It's a big motif, but that's my goal, to get that done today. So see how I go, and that when I'll know what my stitch count is for and I can finish off that, get up to date on my Craft Room Sal. And then tomorrow it's full steam into May. Now May, Mania. All right, I don't know about you, but I can't let May go without doing some Mania plans. But I'm not starting all the things. I've done that, I've been there. I was watching FlossTube earlier this week, and I was watching one girl who had a great plan, and what she'd done is she actually had a big board with the pictures, like, you know, like I use for the pictures of the pieces, and she'd stuck a picture on when she started Mania each day that she started it, and then she went through and she pulled them off when she finished them. She finished so many. I was so proud of her, and I thought, wow, that is such a great idea. So if I ever decide to get crazy again, or maybe next year, I could do a Mania where I work on a project a day. It doesn't have to be it can be previously started. I really like that idea because that's a really good way of closing out how much work you've done on it in the rest of the year. But for me, I'm doing a bit of a focus Mania. There you are, there's that yawn. I have got 2 pieces in my finishes that are Cricut collection. So I've got Winter, and I have got, this one's a really bad photo, Christmas. A bit of light, it's really coming down into the video now. Christmas and Winter. So my goal, my finishes for the month of May is Winter and Christmas will be finished. Not negotiable, going to happen. So those 2 need to be done. The other thing that needs to be done is WIP Go. And WIP Go called number 23 and 25. Number 25 brings me back to my Amazing Animal Kingdom bookshelf, which you can see where I'm up, sitting just here, sideways. See the elephant there, the peacock coming on his back. So I'm going to be digging that one out again for Whipco and Once Upon a Fairy Tale. So I'm a little bit disappointed for the first time with Whipco because it's pulled ones that I've already worked on twice. And there's still two I have not worked on, not been called yet. But I'm going to stick to the plan because, you know, that's the plan for Whipco for this year and there's no reason not to stick with it. Plus, Semi-Sane are doing a mania focus sort of event. And the idea is that you divide your whips up into 5 groups. Well, I'm going to just do 5 whips. And each one, for every 200 stitches you do on all 5, that's 1,000 stitches. You get an entry into their drawing. So that's pretty cool. So I am going to be doing, not surprisingly, my 2 full coverages, my winter and Christmas, and my Nutcracker. There's 5 pieces. They're pretty easy. And they're 5 pieces that should fit into lots of other prompts. So that is what you're going to be seeing a lot of in the coming weeks, those 5 pieces. Okay, so that then brings me to haul. Yes, I got bitten by the Sal bug. So many gorgeous Sals are getting released at the moment. Owl Forest have a really cool new one based on Treasure Island that I'm very tempted to do. I mean, I was tempted to do the original one on Wizard of Oz. I was tempted to do the 100 Owls, and I didn't start either of them. So the thing with Sals is I really like trying to keep up with them. I don't like having them left behind like my Nutcracker. I don't enjoy that. I don't just stitch any piece then. The fun of the Sal is to stitch along with people. So we've reinstigated the Thursday night Sal night on the Whip Warrior Zoom for the Australian hour time, where we're going to try and work on our Sals all together that night, and some of us are working on the same Sals as each other, which makes it far more fun. And so there's one coming out from Satsuma Street on the 4 Elements. I'm going to wait to see that. But the Frosted Pumpkin one, which is it's sort of like the Fairy Tales Go to the Prom. Yeah, it's going to be really, really fun, and they've been releasing some really cute sneak peeks. So I've bitten and I bought it, and I've just got to work out what of my fabrics I'm going to work it on. And the other one that I've been watching and thinking about is the Lola Crow. Now let me get this right. Glass House. Oh. Anyway, Glass House of Oddities. I'll put the name up if I can remember it. I keep wanting to call it the bird cage, but because the Glass House looks like a bird cage at the moment. You're doing the frame, and they've got 6 weeks to do the frame, but we're already 2 weeks in. So I figured if I want to stitch it, I've got to start now because I've got to get that frame done. So I will be starting that one come Thursday night this week. So that's my plans. 2 new starts, which means I need to find 2 more pieces in my collection to finish, because, you know, I've got to get down to 50. So I did, fortunately, find my photos at long last. And this is my little pile of current whips. So probably easiest one to finish will be the next one of these. I've done reading and gardening, so I'm up to quilting or baking. So I need to finish one of those. And I'm not sure. There's a few other ones. I've got my gnome, but I'm going to finish him in June. Here's my June plan. I do also have a Told in the Garden, but I mean, I've just finished a Told in the Garden, so I don't feel like I want to work a lot on a Told in the Garden a lot this month. So that gives me 3 other choices. Ariel from The Little Mermaid. I mean, she's pretty blocky. I've only done up to there, but maybe I should try and finish Ariel. or my Charles Wysocki old time wagons, I could work on them, or my Halloween. So I'm going to ask for your help again here, guys. You're going to help me pick which one of these three am I going to add to my finishes list. So wagons, Ariel, or mermaid, Halloween. So you let me know which one you want to see me work on this month in the comments below, and I will pop that into the rotation to get a focus on. But first will be the 2 cricket collections, just so you know. It's just that I'll move one of these up to getting some love to see how it goes. All right, so that is my part of my haul. Then I have got my regular haul, which is of course my threads from Stitch in Time. Getting closer to going down there for my Christmas in July retreat. So we've got our week's dye works, and including a some new colors for this year. Apple Pocket Chai, which is this green, so that's nice to be able to get some new ones. Another one here, this is the Gentle Arts with Habanero Eye High Sky is a new color. And this one is the Classic Colourworks and Cottage Daisies and Fields of Green. So that's the yellow and the green, I imagine, the new colours there. So I'm enjoying collecting those series. Thank you so much to Carolyn for taking the time to put all that together. And I've got my first lot of silks for the month, which is the Silks for You, the regular colours. Absolutely gorgeous. I don't know how much longer I've got to collect this whole collection, but I'm just loving getting them. So we've got PR 116, which they've paired with PR 016, PR 025, which is paired, oh, this one's gorgeous, with 193. So I have no idea what I'm going to do with them, but I'm just collecting a collection because collecting is a genuine hobby as well as stitching. So they are most of my haul. And then I also bought off Stash Unload another Juniper House. I'd never seen this one. So this one's Marugal, really green, love it. So I bought that, no plans to stitch it anytime through. And then I got Stitchy Kindness, and thank you very much to my friend Debbie for this Stitchy Kindness. She was the designated mailman for some of it, and also sent me 2 charts she knew I'd like, that she's finished with. So the first one is Culture Cottage Needleworks Silent Night, and one that I've had in my eye for a long time is the Noah's Submarine. It's a full coverage, but I've always had my eye on that when it was in the Fox collection. So thank you for those, Debbie. They won't get looked at anytime soon, but I will add them to the pile, and when I get to where I can pick some pieces. And then also a prize that I won from the Fun Day Stitchers, who are a wonderful group of girls, mostly based in America, who do Zooms, and they've sent me this gorgeous lipstick needle holder, with a couple of needles in it. So that came all the way across from the United States, so thank you for that. Then that brings me to Paddock Lane Designs business. So if you're not interested in hearing anything about business, it's only a few minutes today. There's going to be a lot more coming through in coming videos, because I am ramping up what I'm doing now that I'm not at work full time. I'm going to be able to have a bit more time to focus on the business. First thing, super exciting, is that the retreat, the Paddock Lane Designs / Mojo Stitches Stitching in the Mountains retreat, is in October, is full steam ahead. I've been shopping for the goodie bags. I've got the goodie bags, I've got a bunch of things to go in them, and you will be getting exclusive designs from both designers to work on, plus being taught by the 2 designers Joanna and myself, how to stitch different things. My design is going to have a couple of specialty stitches because that's something I like, and I haven't branched out into designing any of them yet, so I'm branching out into it. And we have still got one spot left, a twin bed spot. So if you would like a twin share place in the retreat, go to mojostitches.com, on the blog where it says find out more information here. If you click on the word here on Joanna's blog, it will take you to a Google form where you can fill it out. So if you are interested in coming and joining us, it's only, I think, $375 for the twin spot. That's accommodation and the retreat, which is really, really good value. As you know, my philosophy is about making cross-stitch affordable and accessible to Australians. So we do everything as inexpensively as we can to give you the best experience. So there's one spot left, one twin bed spot that we really would like to fill. Plus we'd like a few people on the wait list so that if something does happen, we can find a replacement. So that's what we've got. So that's exciting. I also in August am coming as a vendor again to the Daisy Chain Stitchery, and I will be bringing my full shop. So it will have my designs, there'll be some new releases, there'll be fabrics in Aida, even weave and linen, and they're also my full range of accessories. So if you're interested in knowing what I have, go to paddocklanedesigns.com and check it out. I try to cater for things that I don't see in many other places, because that's what I'm about, bringing things to you that you can get. So I source them from all over the world and stock them up so that you can buy them and get them all in an order. I'll also have my Stitchy clothing wear range there to have a look at, that you'll be able to order if that's something that you're interested in. So those are the two retreats coming up that I'm going to be vendoring at. I'm attending the Stitching in Christmas in July one down in Hobart, and Knitting Nat Stitches and I are making a big road trip of it. And I've also signed up to go as an attendee to the Mirabilia retreat in Brisbane in February. So lots and lots of exciting plans coming up towards the end of the year. But the big news is I also have taken the leap of faith and signed up to the online marketplace, this needlework event that's for the American shops to come to. It's going to be done online in August, so I'm going to have some new releases ready for that. Super excited to get my designs out to the broader community. So looking forward to that, but there's lots and lots and lots of work to do. And the other thing, just a quick little bit from the shop, part of what I do have is a lot of thread bling. I do now have these camping ones back in stock. I haven't updated it yet, but they've arrived. Really cute little caravan. So I do have a bunch of them, as well as a whole lot of other ones for your floss drops or scissor bling. So yeah, go check it out. All right, friends, that's all I have to say for today. I really want to get back to stitching and get this other finish. How awesome would it be to get 4 finishes in a month? And they've been larges and mediums too. They're not just smalls. I noticed, you know, some floss tubes have finishes all the time, but they're only doing tiny little ones. These have been quite substantial. So that's what I'm heading to. That's my plans, that's my stitching. I am working full-time for the next 2 weeks again, replacing a teacher who's going on leave. So I won't have as much stitching time and nor filming time, but Laurie and I are going to try and squeeze in the monthly challenge chat so that you can see what's coming in April. May, where's the year going? Flying by. All right, guys, until I see you, happy stitching, everyone.